It's easy to look around and notice everything wrong in your city. In this podcast by Every Neighborhood Partnership, join Grace and Andrew as they invite friends, activists, pastors, leaders, and city workers to discover what's good in the neighborhood. Join us for insightful conversations that will encourage you to see your city and its people in a new way.
Welcome to What's Good in the Neighborhood. On this episode, we sit down with Melissa Danisi, who is the Life Group Director and Women's Bible Study Director at the Well Community Church. Melissa and her husband both have years and years of experience working at Fresno Unified and have made a decision amongst many choices to stay within the district and to put their kids in at a dual immersion school. So we kind of talked through like the processing of that, the parent guilt and shame dynamic of how do we choose schools and success for our kids. And then we explore some of the costs and benefits of their own journey and experience. So this is a really honest conversation about the one family's process, but I think it reflects some of the larger experiences. And Melissa was actually a literacy reading intervention specialist for the district. So she brings a lot of heart, intent, and vision to literacy as well. So we talk through that. So you're going to enjoy it. She's a great person, and stick with us.
Well, welcome to What's Good in the Neighborhood. Andrew, we're back.
We're back at it. Feels good.
It feels good. We are in our series called Beyond the Bell. And when we did our intro episode, we really just chatted through like we work in schools. Most of our work is done around a neighborhood school because we believe that every elementary school can be the hub of their neighborhood. And so, yeah, we thought we should probably do a series on what happens in schools, what happens around schools, how we can better support public school system.
Yeah, and I think our own, as we did that intro episode, our own reflection was like, man, our own journeys as kids and then now as parents is just each story is unique, and then we're in a moment too of a lot of school choice. And so it'd be great to have a parent who has been in the Fresno Unified school system, has stayed there, and just somebody that we also like and wanted to have on.
So today we are joined by both of our friend, Melissa Danisi.
Hello, thanks for having me.
Yes, Melissa and Andrew used to work together.
Yes, we did.
Melissa and I do ministry together now. So it's just a real gift to have you.
Yeah,
we had a moment, I saw Melissa at City Center, at the Mission City Center last week, and we're like, she's introduced me. I used to work with Andrew 10 years ago. I was like, that's a full decade.
Oh, that is so
Long
crazy.
time ago.
It really does feel like yesterday. But yes, 10 years ago.
Oh, goodness. Well, Melissa, share with us a little bit about your family, like your season of life.
Okay.
And then we'll dive into schools. But let's just start there.
Schools.
Yeah.
That is my season of life.
Yeah.
Yes. So I have been married to my husband for 19 years, almost 20 years. We're just old. 10 years ago, 20 years. And then I have two kids, both through adoption, a 6-year-old daughter, 7-year-old son. And they're in a dual immersion program here in Fresno Unified. I work for our church, The Well. And if I wasn't working there, I would love to be here at ENP. I love what you guys do and worked as a classroom teacher for 9 years. And my husband worked for the district in finance for, I think, 15 years.
Was your trajectory like you knew going into the workforce you always wanted to be in the education realm?
Always. I think from the time I was little, I would go to school, come home, play school, assign my younger sister assignments, discipline imaginary kids. Everything was like, I am going to be a teacher. And then turns out teaching is hard. Yeah, real students are harder than imaginary students when you're 8 years old. But I've always loved the classroom. I've always loved to learn. So, yeah.
Melissa makes me laugh on a weekly basis because you are constantly making your kids like the silliest snacks.
Oh, I
and they're
didn't know.
Themed.
I didn't know that was going to be a part of motherhood for me. Halloween snacks, jack-o'-lantern quesadillas. I love it. I don't love to cook, but I love to make kid food.
What I love about it is that most moms do that out of like, I should probably be the fun mom.
Oh.
And you do it because you're like, this is the best thing to put googly eyes on every single piece of edible.
I keep them stocked up in my house.
I love it.
It's like Amazon is like, just send her more googly eyes.
It's her subscription.
I love it so much. It's been really fun for me getting to know you and watching you, just mom. So yeah, I'm so excited you're here. So tell us a little bit about your guys' journey with Fresno Unified. So you adopted. It's been how many years now since then?
Almost 8 years.
Yeah.
Almost 8 years. So when we got Mateo, I was teaching reading intervention at Easterby Elementary. So, okay, want to know my journey? I taught right here at Heaton. We moved back from the Bay Area, and I was teaching kindergarten in the Bay Area, and I took over a first grade class at Heaton that it was a kindergarten cop experience. Okay, if you've seen that movie, it was like, oh, okay, I know why this teacher left. And I interviewed at several different schools in Fresno Unified, and I wanted Heaton. So I taught first grade at Heaton. I taught third grade at Thomas Elementary, which is off of Millbrook and Gettysburg. And then I went to Ainsworth, which is, I think, our furthest, most southeast school, and absolutely loved it there. So I grew up going to a dual immersion school, very small, one class per grade. And so many of the students I went with were migrant families. And so my parents bused me from our north side of town neighborhood 30 minutes to south side Stockton, which if you know anything, street cred. So Ainsworth to me was like very comfortable. That was kind of what I grew up in.
What was their interest in doing that for you?
My mom, it's so weird because they didn't do it with any of my other siblings. They just saw that I was kind of advanced, and she heard me on my big wheel. Remember those in the 80s and 90s?
Still around. Yeah,
making up languages. So she's like, maybe we should put her in like a language class or something. And they bused me to, Southside Stockton to learn Spanish in third grade. So I left that school. I started the first day of third grade completely in Spanish, knew nothing.
Yeah. That's hard.
Sat there like I was writing in my notebook, what are they talking about?
Because now they don't do that. You have to start,
no,
right?
You
like
start,
kinder or first
like
or
my
something?
kids started in pre-K. You really should get in pre. If you go any later, they make you do a language test. So if you are dual or native Spanish speaker, you would get in. But most of it starts pre-K. I just jumped right in third grade and picked it up. I know.
Wow.
I know. I say that now. I'm like, Mom and Dad.
What were you doing?
What were you doing? And I was just like, okay, let's go. Yeah. So,
Wow. So that really like shaped then when you started thinking about, when you and your husband started thinking about school for your two kids.
Yes.
Did you know from the get, like, I want them to be able to speak two languages? That was a high value?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, experience, right? I knew you could. I've always loved people of different cultures. I wish everybody could speak more than one language. So, and because of my experience with it, I thought this would be great. Let's try it. Let's see. And how cool. Fresno has 8 schools that I don't even know anymore, how many that do this.
Grow them,
Yeah. So there are some schools that are neighborhood schools with a dual immersion program. The one we're at is dual immersion program. So everybody transfers in. So it doesn't have neighborhood school.
Yeah. So a lot of people are driving to the school.
Yeah. There's a lot in our neighborhood if they chose that school. So it's still close by. We've made friends from, down the street that also go to that school. Or, they're driving. There's even one family drives in from Clovis.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
So very unique kind of population there.
Ever wondered what makes your neighborhood unique or how the history of your city shapes the places you love today? Well, now you can explore the story of Fresno like never before, right from your car using the VoiceMap app. Introducing the Every Neighborhood Partnership Drive Tour, a self-guided audio tour that brings your community's history, landmarks, and stories to life. As you drive through local streets, EMP's Drive Tour will guide you with fascinating insights into the people, places, and events that have shaped your neighborhood. Whether you're discovering hidden gems, learning about community activism, or simply enjoying a fresh perspective on familiar places, this tour is a great way to connect with Fresno in a whole new way. So, what are you waiting for? Tap into the Every Neighborhood Partnership Drive Tour today on VoiceMap and get to know your community like never before. Download the VoiceMap app, search for the Every Neighborhood Partnership Tour, and start exploring now. Fresno's story is waiting to be discovered.
As you took the learning experience, right? So, you're in a family, and, Grace and I talked about it. Like, we're in a family that can choose, has transportation, has jobs that are flexible enough that we can work around busing and getting kids everywhere. And then we're also reflecting that we do have a lot of friends who are also homeschooling and doing that option for a variety of reasons, right? So, as you and Santino processed this decision, was it just the dual immersion? And also, what other options did you consider? Or how was that was that a stressful thing? Or was no, this is just clear for us?
I think both of us working in the school district, that was how we helped better the community, right? Me in the classroom, him with his gifts in finance. So we always loved it, believed in it. Not that it's without fault, of course, right? But that was we just knew that, and we wanted diversity. We wanted people who were different than us. So I think it was a lot of factors, and because I had been in dual immersion, it was no, could be really cool. It was multiple reasons why I would love to homeschool. I love being with my kids, and I have that teacher
you said you were
in
practicing.
me. Yeah, I've been doing it since I was 7 years old, But community was the number one thing for us. That was I know even if I'm sending them to a school that wasn't the top best at education, I'm going to supplement that. It was community. And so what did we value for our kids there?
Yeah.
So.
I hear.
And we hit the jackpot. We didn't even know, the gold that we would have at the school they're at. So
I want to hear about that. But I also want to hear what are some of the costs, or as you've seen other peers, other parents make different decisions for their kids that are maybe in your peer group or in your same even socioeconomic class. And like Andrew was saying, we all have so many choices if we're of privilege.
Yeah.
What has that been like for you guys to just be actually we're good.
Yeah.
We're gonna just stick it out here.
Yeah. I remember a mom making a comment to me, everybody's, what school are you at? What school are you at? And then I tell them, we're at a dual immersion school, Fresno Unified. Oh, I hear they'll be behind for a while, but eventually they'll catch up. And I was like, yeah.
Wow.
I guess so. But I remember thinking okay, yeah, so am I making a bad decision here? Because now they're going to be struggling, and great, your kids, and that mattered to me. I'm like that. I want my kids to read and be on grade level. And I'm looking at, oh my gosh, your son, same age, has a chapter book, and mine's still sounding out Spanish words, so I think for that, the little bit of misunderstanding, insecurity, doubt. Oh my gosh, as parents, we never make the right choice. We just go with what we think, you know. When our son was born, he was born with a lot of cognitive delays, speech delay, and we didn't recognize or even understand how hard learning a second language would be for him. It's hard for all kids, but because of his unique learning disabilities, that's been hard too. So, but you don't know. You don't know until you're in it. And then we didn't know until we discovered what was going on with him. Why is this hard? Oh, it's extra hard, not just because it's a different language.
Yes.
Kind of thing. So,
were they able to meet him in those, or did you have to go to outside supports, or?
That is one thing I will say about Fresno Unified. Their special ed services are amazing. So he entered Fresno Unified on an IEP for speech and occupational therapy at not even 4 years old. It's unheard of that he would have that kind of care to start. But we didn't know there was learning disability in there too. So that took a few years for us, really for me, right? Because I had been a reading intervention teacher for so long. I'm like, okay, I know how many times we've covered this. and he works hard, and it wasn't clicking. So I think it was in first grade, I went to them and said, all right, run every test because something's wrong and I don't know what it is. And they were so thorough and so caring. Now he's in second grade. It's rigorous. He tries really hard. He grows at his own pace, but they've been very supportive. It's just still tough for him. Whereas for his sister, it's like she could do his homework over his shoulder kind of thing. You know, she's ready to fly, and he's kind of, so.
Yes. Andrew and I have chatted a lot about, like, we're going to you take it 1 year at a time.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, based on your kid. Do you find that that's true for you guys? Or do you feel a little bit more, like, committed to the school?
When we discovered all that we did, and we felt so supported through special ed and even his teacher that he got this year, you just could not ask for a more loving, encouraging, supportive teacher. But we did. We went, okay, we probably need to put him in an English-only school, and we still looked at 4 or 5 Fresno Unified schools in our neighborhood. You know, so we're committed to, for now, staying in Fresno Unified. We called private schools in town, and they basically said, with all that he has, we can't serve him.
Yes.
So that's a
Cross that off the box.
podcast for another day.
Yeah.
That was like,
Yes, it is.
oh, okay. Which, wow, right? You think about all the things going on in the education system, and yet my son has all the support that he wouldn't get if we were paying privately somewhere. So.
Yeah, and that really has been my experience too. Is that, you know, the larger the district is, the larger the school is, right? The more they have the ability to specialize and really get those supports that are needed. We're at a charter school downtown, and you know, that's like IEPs and the special ed services are the last thing to come. You know, they're small. A lot of charters are small nonprofits, and so they're just like, we're gonna have to outsource that, you know, because they can't. That's an expensive. It's a specialized. It takes a lot of skill. So that is a really amazing thing.
What's one of the unique strengths that you've gotten to witness at your public school? You talked about, like, there's been so much gold. We were chatting through, like, just the diversity you get. Can you talk a little bit about that?
So I'll tell you, when we realized all this with him and thought, oh, we may have to pull him, I cried because of the people, the families. So the families that are there, it's just such a unique community, and we've all now been with each other because it's, you know, we all started in pre-K, so we've been to all the birthday parties together, and now the siblings are coming through, so we've known each other for 4 years, and it's like, hey, can you take them to the park after school? I'll be there at 3, or so that to me that was such a surprise. Of not just, yes, we had diversity and people who are different than us, but we genuinely love the families that we go to school with. And that would be the hardest part if we had to switch or do anything, which I know there's good people at other schools too. But we really love, and they're almost all of the families, it's dual immersion, but majority of them speak both Spanish and English, many primarily Spanish in the home. So we're kind of one of the few that I did grow up going to dual immersion school, but it wasn't native language to me. So over years, I've lost my ability. I speak it like as good as the second graders. I'm going into help right now, you know? And so even that, they're just like, oh, we can help them with the homework or, you know, so that for sure has been the biggest surprise, biggest blessing, the people, the community that we get to see all the time. So.
And like different cultural experiences too for your kids that they wouldn't necessarily get.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Speak more, you mentioned earlier, kind of what I heard was you're talking about the pressure parents feel as you, I mean, you know, you have a lot of these conversations, Grace does as well. There's so much pressure, whether it's sports, whether it's school, to be like, am I setting my kid up for success? What I do now, like, are they going to graduate college? Are they going to be successful as a human if I make this decision, right? Like, what pressure, have you all experienced that pressure? What do you hear from other parents? And then even like what I also heard you saying is like, you just got to choose values. Like you and Santino sat down and said, what are our values as a family? Like what's how that sounds like a counterbalance to the pressure, right? Like You have to be clear about what you value.
Yeah.
And just often we're just going with the flow. I don't
Yeah.
know. Any thoughts to that?
I think the biggest pressure comes from me. I am like, if you can do it to A+ person, right? Oh, your homework's due today. We're going to get it done no matter what. I know what I've said it so many times. I know what a first grade reader should look like. So it's all coming from me. I was a high achieving student, right? And then I have this experience with my son in school.
Because like what fears were going in your head as you're sitting down with him? Like, can you take us there? Like, what were you imagining when he's not being able to read?
Oh, you're not going to be successful in life. Everybody in class. I asked that. And then to his teacher, I'm like, do the other kids know? And she's like, no. But I recognize in that is just a very vulnerable, like, I care about that. Yeah. I want him to look like everybody's writing. He can write too. So and he doesn't, I think he's catching on. But because it's this little tight-knit crew that's just been with each other for so long, it's not as noticeable maybe or even that big of a deal. Yeah. But all of that, some of his learning disabilities, the way they described it was, it's like he has a broken leg and you're having him run a race, but being in dual immersion is now 2 broken legs and you're having him run a race. Yeah. So that's mom guilt all the way, right? Yeah. What did we do? We didn't know. And yet he's actually learning to read in English and Spanish. Not on grade level, but he's doing it. So it's like, whoa, you're resilient, dude. You are like working hard to make this happen. But it's my internal stuff, junk. Isn't it always with this stuff?
Well, and I think that's what I want to name is like, it's so much. It's just that I want to feel like I'm a competent parent. I feel insecure, so I put my pressure now on my kids, right? Like, I think that's even in the sports world. I really want my kid to be, to do the next hardest thing. Yeah. I'm like, does my son want to do that? Or do I want that for him? Yeah. I want it for him. That's the answer.
I asked him over summer, I said, hey, would you rather learn in English, just English? Or do you want to learn in Spanish? And he's like, I would rather learn in English, but please don't change my school, Mom. And so even that, I'm like, he could even articulate or see the difference. This is hard for me, but I love my school. So even that, we ended up putting transfers in and got denied everywhere. Wow. So we just kind of surrendered to, we don't know. We really don't know what we're doing, but we're here. So we're going to be here, and I'm going to make sure you get all the accommodations you need. Your teacher's great. You have RSP services. We love the people. Okay, here we go. This is where we are. So
yes. I was even just thinking, as both of you were talking, like, then we have values too that we want to see accomplished in our family systems. And then what happens when our kid, at school or the way that they're performing, like they're not matching our values. Yeah. Well, that's not an issue with my child. That's an issue with my values then. Right. Then I have to reassess and relook at what am I valuing over just their development and who they are as a person.
Yeah. So. And learning to read is a huge piece of life and success in life. But I hope that they recognize the school we intentionally chose for them was for other reasons too, that also bring great things for humanity, Yeah. So wrestling through all that. He just got his first little progress report with letter grades on it. And I'm like, I am not my child's GPA. I am not my... What? He's in second grade. What is happening? So, Yeah,
I love that.
At Every Neighborhood Partnership, we believe that strong, vibrant communities start with engaged and empowered residents. To make that happen, we need your help. Our mission is to connect neighbors, create opportunities for local leadership, and transform neighborhoods through education, collaboration, and advocacy. Every dollar you donate goes directly to supporting programs that make a real difference. Whether it's providing land use education, elementary literacy mentoring, or healthy spaces to help kids and our families grow. When you donate to EMP, you're not just giving money, you're investing in a future where every neighborhood in Fresno has the tools and resources it needs to thrive. Your contribution, whether big or small, ensures that our communities have a seat at the table in the decisions that affect them most. So if you believe in seeing students excel, our community members healthy and whole, and our neighborhood's thriving, we invite you to make a donation today. Just visit everyneighborhood.org or tap the link in the show notes to give. Your support helps develop the next generation of leaders like Fresno depends on it. Donate now to Every Neighborhood Partnership.
You guys are also raising kids that come from different ethnic backgrounds than you guys do too.
That was a big thing too for us.
Yeah. So what's been the benefit of staying in Fresno Unified when it comes to that?
I mean, we notice when you're on a Instagram post and it's, all one color of a kid, and we have mixed race kids, that we're like, oh, they would feel like the one there or whatever it is. Now, where we're at is a lot of mostly Hispanic kids. So they're still kind of not, it's not as
integrated.
Yes. Yeah. There's still more than maybe if we had chosen another school, but there's brown kids, black kids, white kids. So we wanted that. And we know, that was just an important value for us too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so good.
As, there's a growing trend of folks pulling out of the school district.
Mm-hmm.
So even as, I've been in some meetings where Fresno Unified's talking about their future, their numbers, their enrollment, Fresno's kind of size capped out.
Yeah.
And so there's just it's not growing as a city.
Yeah.
We're getting older, so that means less kids enrolling. And then more families are choosing out of Fresno Unified, whether that is through Clovis, whether that's homeschool, whether that's a charter school, right? So that's just a growing movement and across the United States. Fresno's not unique in that.
Yeah.
That's happening everywhere. I don't know. What are your thoughts about that? How do you, that was the district you worked for, or your husband worked for, it's where your kids are at. Do you worry about that? Do you get it? I don't know.
I mean, there's a lot of brokenness in the school system, in education. There's so much to focus on in Fresno Unified too. I remember in COVID, when my husband was a CFO, he's like, Clovis is trying to figure out how to get Wi-Fi into homes. He's like, we're trying to figure out how to feed the kids.
Yes, yeah.
So it's just so many differences. I think the hard thing in Fresno Unified is we have so many different, social emotional takes a big chunk of time, or truly just feeding our kid takes a big chunk of time. Sometimes the actual education and what's best practices is like a piece of the puzzle, not the main thing we're headed towards, which I've seen that, for my own kids too. It's like he's kind of fallen through the cracks, but he needs a lot of educational support. But he doesn't have high social emotional need. We're feeding him breakfast. He's making himself his breakfast, So I see that too, and I could see and so part of me is like, okay, get in the fight and help fix the system as much as you can. Yeah. So I joined school site council,
Oh, dang. Denise just got elected on the school site council, y'all.
Good.
Wife.
See?
Yeah.
But that is, you actually get to have conversation and input in where your additional funding is spent. So we had conversations over buying cheerleading outfits. I want them to have cheerleading outfits, of course, but I was like, hey, what about some reading intervention resources, So that's part of it. But the statistics are bad, It's 30% proficient in ELA, 18 in math.
Yep.
We have a lot of work to do, and there's so much you're up against. I can completely understand why parents are going somewhere else that might provide for their needs. So
you just touched on something that I want to unpack quickly, is just like parent engagement and advocacy, like you taking this step, I'm going to be part of this council. Yeah. You also mentioned you're part of a mostly Hispanic school. So what does that look like for you when you enter that council, and you probably have your ideas of like, well, we need da-da-da-da-da-da.
Yeah.
What does that look like for you to sit at that table and go, okay, how do I hear everyone around the table?
Yeah, and truly, they're talking about literacy from a Spanish point of view. So I have knowledge around, I know what first grade reading is like over here in English, but I don't know the program that you're using or why you're teaching it that way. I come in more as a former educator, which maybe they don't love that. But so I come in knowing the words or knowing certain things to say and trying to keep that at the forefront. I mean, really trying to advocate for literacy. I'm not just saying that because of E&P, but like that really is and it always has been.
Yeah.
Well, and you know this, and we experience this, is that you have a lot of teachers who, when they were taught to teach, actually did not learn how to teach reading and literacy skills.
No.
So and then even those that are in the system now that are getting taught, they just think, oh, well, it was the kindergarten or the first grade teacher's responsibility.
Right.
Well, you're a fourth grade teacher and your kid still doesn't, like, you need to be reinforcing those concepts. So I think that's been a learning lesson of mine over the last couple of years is like, oh, there's a whole generation, there's decades of teachers here that don't know actually how to teach reading.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so my hope in those conversations is to fight for that. Let's get the resources that they need. And our school's K-8, so I'm on the school site council with a 7th grade science teacher, and she's like, they need help reading 2nd grade level material.
Wow.
You know, so we're like, help her. How does she? I'm talking about intervention for K-1, and she's like, what do I do with this?
Yes,
How will they ever be on grade level if this is where they're struggling? So there's 1,000 things that you could talk about.
Truly.
And that's the drum I just try to keep beating. And I think that's part of the reason why my son is in my life, because he was the kid that I got to serve. And now I'm not in a classroom anymore, but now I get to advocate for other kids like him too. So,
oh, that's really beautiful. We could keep going,
Yeah, we
on
could.
and on and on. There's so much to unpack. I would love, just as we land the plane, like, what would be your encouragement to other parents that are also navigating the public school system? What would you say?
well, I think it's kind of back to what both of you said. It's evaluating your values. You know, if this is about finding a little mini Harvard for your 2nd grader, probably not going to be the case. But if the value is community, diversity, you get a lot. It's rigorous in a public school system. I had a friend tell me that I'm looking at my kid's 1st grade homework and hers, and she's like, oh, yeah, the rigor is not the same for what your child gets. And then you have to do what's right for your own family and your own, even within your family, looking at both of my kids and what is the right choice here. And everything has pros and cons. So you have to decide what's the bigger win at the end of this. So,
Yeah.
And support your teachers. And if you're a parent, try to get in the classroom and be helpful. I go in for 45 minutes once a week, and it's nonsense what I'm doing. But it's just, I know it's meaningful to my kids. I know I'm correcting math homework for the teacher. Great. I'd love to do. I will scrub your floor if you want me to do that.
But you're a blessing to her.
Well, and I just remember what that was like for me. And I worked in schools where parents were scared to come on campus, which is another podcast for another day.
Yes.
So I know what it's like to have someone just show up. If they need snacks, buy the snacks. Just put a couple more in your Target cart and keep, just that kind of stuff too. So, yeah.
So good.
Well, and Melissa said she's not a teacher. She is a teacher. And if you want to hear her, she leads what I hear. It is an amazing women's equipping group. So,
I do. Yes, I do.
How would people learn about that?
Don't sign up right now.
Too full.
So full.
There's a few hundred women in it, Andrew.
Yes.
But yes, at the
Just
well,
a little small
just
thing.
a small little thing.
Yeah,
Grace
it's a
has helped
little
teach
study.
in that too. But yeah, thewellcommunity.org. You actually can sign up online. So if you are looking for something,
For an
you
online
can
group.
get in online. Yeah. But we've like 50, almost 60 groups I think now that are running all throughout in every neighborhood.
It's almost like there's a connection.
Oh, my. Yes. So, yeah, you're right. I do still care about literacy, biblical literacy, too.
Yeah.
So,
we do.
That's good.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Melissa. Thank you for sharing a bit of your story. And, that's really good. So.
Thanks for having me, you guys. I love what you're doing.
Thanks for tuning in. If you want to find out more about EMP, you can visit us at everyneighborhood.org. or follow us at EMP Fresno. Every Neighborhood Partnership and this podcast exists to activate, equip, mobilize, and transform here in Fresno and beyond. If you like what you've heard, please share and review What's Good in the Neighborhood wherever you listen. We'll see you next time.